Welcome to Passion for the Pastime, where baseball lives 24/7, 365. Catch conversations with beat writers, broadcasters, current and former players of all levels. Now here's your host,
Walter Balsetta. Whoops, I fumbled. I got to get out of here.
Walter Balsetta.
Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome in to a January 20th. I forgot what day it is. January 20th version of Passion for the Pastime. Happy Martin Luther King Day to all of you, and welcome in to Passion for the Pastime here at 6 p.m. like we always are. Thank you all for stopping by and joining in the conversation. This is your first time joining us on the podcast. My name is Walter Sasaki, and I currently work at KMBR. And we talk baseball here. We started this podcast years ago, back in like 2018 or something along those lines. And it was mainly audio form. But then now we're here on YouTube. We're on YouTube. Last show we actually went above 100 subscribers, so I want to thank everybody for making that possible. We're going to have a announcement at the end of the week as far as what our prize is, what I'm going to give back to the subscribers of Passion for the Pastime. So it should be a fun time tonight. We're going to talk some baseball. We are going up against the national championship game, Ohio State and Notre Dame. Not sure what the current score was. I know Notre Dame went up early in that game to start it. So let me get a score check really quick for you football fanatics out there. Ohio State 14, Notre Dame 7, about to go into halftime. So we'll keep track on that as the night goes on. Tacky, what is up, dude? I see you in here. Welcome on in. Yes, that is the inaugural text of the show. So welcome in, everybody. Again, my name is Walter Sasaki, and we're going to be talking a lot of baseball. The last time I was on here, it was a breaking news pod. It was on Friday where I wasn't going to do a pod, right? I wasn't going to do one on Friday, which I normally don't, and I ended up doing one from the comfort of my driver's seat. Started breaking down the news of Roki Sasaki going to the Dodgers. We'll talk about that. We'll break it down a little bit more. The state of baseball, the state of the Dodgers, and what the hell needs to change with that new CBA in 2 years. I believe that this current deal is from 2022 to 2026. So it's gonna be a while. But what needs to change? What needs to change in order for like the playing field, or if anything needs to change? Does anything need to change? Were all these moves that happened over the weekend good for baseball? You know, you hear the conversations going back and forth and what people are thinking, like the talking heads, and a lot of people obviously are going to say, oh, this is great for baseball. This is the best thing that could ever happen. You have the LA market, you know, just having a stranglehold. No, I don't believe that it's good for baseball. Well, we'll get into that. We'll have that conversation moving forward. I do have Derek Papa of KMBR and Just Your Opinion Man. He's going to be stopping by here in just about 15 minutes. We're going to talk some ball, talk some football, not only baseball here on the podcast, because I was out with him and the crew on Sunday watching the football games as a group exercise. And I had my money in on the action, and it did not come out victorious. Marcus the Waterboy did, but I can't say the same for myself. So we'll get into all of that. We'll talk some baseball. We'll get into some of the moves for the Giants. They had a signing earlier. I believe it was earlier today. It's not really a huge signing, you know. It's not Pete Alonso like. It's not Roki Sasaki like, but it is a signing nonetheless. So we'll talk about that and pose you guys a little question, because I don't know if I have it with me. I used to have it. I think I have it in the closet. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Just a reference to the player that the Giants did sign earlier today. But let's go out to the YouTube chat, because we always like to check in with all of you guys. Welcome in, and thank you all for stopping by. to the podcast to hear me rant and ramble about the Dodgers. We do have the cruise line available, 925-392-5348. If you guys want to chime in on the conversation, that is not just limited to myself. If you have me and Derek talking away and you want to chime in on that conversation, you can definitely give us a call. Again, that is 925 392-5348. That is 925 Babe Ruth, the year I was born, Melky Cabrera, and Pablo Sandoval. So welcome in, everybody. Got to get out to the text line here to the YouTube chat. Say hi to my peeps. Tacky, big shocker. Roki to LA, or Walter not kicking it with us yesterday. I would say that the biggest shock was me not kicking it with you guys. I think there was there was a higher likelihood that I would be kicking it with you guys. No, actually, no. Was there a higher likelihood that Roki would end up in LA? I don't know. That's a good question, Tacky. I wasn't gonna make it out to Danville. I told Rock New Era that I had previous plans already in the can to meet with the KNBR guys. So I apologize, Tacky. We'll get out there at some point here in the near future. We'll definitely do that. Tacky, nah, dude, I do mess with you guys. I fuck with you guys. Come on, man. What do you mean? Otis chiming in. What's up, Otis? Good to see you in here, man. Thank you for stopping by. Lori Galvin stopping by for the Passion for the Pastime as well. Thank you all for stopping by. No, of course, Tacky. Hey, you know what? If you didn't do that, then I would think something's wrong with you, Tacky. I mean, come on, man. Let's just be real. I would think that something's up if Tacky is not coming in here and busting my balls at 6:00 on a Monday. That is definitely how I feel about that. But we do have the cruise line open. Actually, am I connected? I have to find out if I am connected. I am connected right now. It just connects automatically. So yeah, if you guys want to join in the conversation, but we'll start with the signing for the Giants. They signed Joey Lucchesi, right? Lucchesi, that is how you say the last name. Left-handed pitcher. He has pitched mainly for the Mets. I think early on in his career, he started with the Padres, which brings me to my next point. In that the Padre or Joey Lucchesi, when he was back in the days when pitchers would hit, actually caught a foul ball from Joey Lucchesi. I think that's how you say it. Caught a foul ball in the third deck on the third baseline, fouled one off, and I caught it, barehanded it. I had my drink in my hand, barehanded it in the third deck. It was like not the premium view box, but like you go up the steps in that first two rows. That's where I was, right by the top of the staircase, and I caught that ball. And that was actually, I want to say that was the first baseball that I ever caught at Oracle Park, or I guess maybe at that time it was AT&T Park. That was the first time that I ever caught a baseball at a sporting event. I came close a couple of other times in my general vicinity, like I didn't get hands on it, but yeah, that was the first ball that I ever caught. So hell yeah, dude. He is now a member of the Giants, gonna fixture into the much needed left-handed part of the bullpen. And he could spot start occasionally, but and all that kind of stuff. But he has good stuff. He has a good sinker, curveball action there. So Joe Lucchesi, or Lucchesi rather, he signs with the Giants on that 1 year deal. I believe it was a $1.5 million deal for the left-hander. So that was the big news of the Giants signing over the weekend or earlier this morning. And yes, Lori Galvin. See, and this is the thing that really grinds my gears. When you look to what was going on with the Dodgers, and you're just kind of trained at this point that they're gonna land every free agent that there is possible. So I was scrolling through my feed, right, on X/Twitter. You can go ahead and give me a follow there. You can see my username there at the bottom half of the left hand page. Walleezy, WALLEEZZY. That's where I am on X and Twitter. But I was scrolling through and I saw the graphics of Santander, and it was blue, and I was just like, you gotta be shitting me. Like, you cannot tell me that he's going to the Dodgers. I just threw out all rational thinking at that moment, and I like turned off my phone. I was like, no, I'm not even gonna think about it. That turns out to be my Jays. Turns out to be that's worthy of a Vlad Jr. Head nod right there. One of these days I'm gonna hit this too hard and his head's just gonna pop off. But that's worthy of a head nod for Vlad Jr. Gets some much needed bat in that lineup. And he's still not under contract, so I don't know what the hell's going to happen there. But Anthony Santander, he signed that, was it a 5-year deal? It was a 5-year deal worth, I think it was $92.5 million. And he has there's a team opt-out, or opt-in. There's a team option, rather. There's a team option. Sorry, so used to opt-outs. There is an opt-out in the deal, but he has a team option for the 6th year, so can take that to a 6-year, like $110 million for the Blue Jays. And then he has an opt-out after year 3. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how that all goes down. But someone other than the Dodgers got a free agent. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that was possible in today's day and age? But Anthony Santander will be playing for the Blue Jays. That is all right by me. I mean, obviously we were talking about a big bat for the Giants, and they need to address the middle of the lineup there. But I don't think that the Giants were ever really looking at Anthony Santander as being a possibility, and I don't even know if there was ever any inquiry as far as what the dollar amount is. But it's a good deal for the Blue Jays. I mean, they definitely need some offense around Vlad Jr., and now you got it there, and maybe that entices him to stay long term. I've seen a lot of reports on where he could potentially want to end up, and I don't know if this was just random fake news on Twitter/X, but I was seeing a lot of rumblings that he may want to play in Boston. That would be really interesting, but I don't know how much merit that carries for sure. So we'll definitely dive into that and see if Vlad Jr. will be made available. I mean, number one priority for the Blue Jays, I think, is to re-sign him. I saw a couple of reports that with everything going on with Pete Alonso and the Mets, that the Mets were looking at an alternative in possibly trading for Vlad Jr., but I don't think that that's going to happen. I don't even know if that has been completely shut down and false at this point. I saw that, I think, early last week with those reports. So we'll have to see what ends up happening, the course of action for the Blue Jays, because if there is a thought process of Vlad Jr. remotely not coming back, and you hear, the latest offer, I guess, over this offseason was, I think it was $350 or $380 for Vlad Jr. He thinks that he can get more on the open market. So then the question becomes for the Blue Jays, well, how much higher are you willing to go for Vlad Jr.? He's much younger than other first basemen that have hit the market, so that price could jack up. I mean, everybody's trying to get the Juan Soto deal. I don't think that's the case for Vlad Jr., but you could get upwards into maybe like 450. Maybe we're talking 500 over 12 years. I don't know. I don't know what the contract would look like for Vlad Jr., but that's definitely a storyline to keep track of going into the season as we get closer to the trade deadline, depending on how good the Blue Jays are looking at that time. So that's enough on my Jays, because the big news of the weekend, and all you guys, what's up, Danny? What's up, Danny? What? How's the hangover? No, I'm not. How's your hangover, Danny? That's the question, because this dude, Danny Dunn, if you guys haven't hung out with Danny Dunn yet, this guy, seriously, we were getting ready to leave, and then this dude orders another pitcher, and we're all looking at each other. We're just like, oh man, who's going to drink this? So Danny, how's your hangover? That's my question to you. Let everybody know in the YouTube chat, because yeah, Danny was pounding them like he desperately needed a drink this past weekend. So I was so happy to see Danny this weekend, and it was a fun time. But yeah, slow it down a little bit, Danny. Slow it down a little bit. But let me know how your hangover is going, Danny. Definitely need to see. I'm not going to judge, but just let me know how you're feeling. What time did you wake up today? Is the question. He left roughly before I mean, we all left at the same time, but he left. He had a ride. He got picked up, and I'm curious. I'm curious because Danny was drinking all weekend. I'm curious to know what time Danny woke up from his weekend of shenanigans, especially with the KMBR boys. So, Danny, what's up, dude? Welcome in. We signed known Giants hater Joey. Yeah, dude, for sure. Lineup's gonna mash. Are we talking about the Blue Jays lineup? Yeah, I think that's a major addition for the Blue Jays. Just the big question for them is, yeah, they're going to mash, but their pitching, like how good is their pitching going to be? I mean, they're going to be relying on Kevin Gausman a lot and some of their other arms that have been successful over the last couple of years. But like when you look at everybody else in that division, like where do the Blue Jays kind of rank for you? We'll get, as we get closer to camp, we'll start looking at other divisions. We'll get out of the NL West talk and we'll look at other divisions. We'll take a look at the AL East. We'll take a look at the NL East and every single division. We'll take a look and see what the hierarchy is. I would say probably right now the Blue Jays are vying for third. Like they're floating between third and fourth with the Orioles. I think that's a fair assessment, especially with the Orioles losing out on Corbin Burns, not being able to kind of fix the hole in. I know they have a lot of young arms coming up in the system. They're gonna have to rely a lot on Rodriguez, but yeah, it just seems like a lot to put on their young pitching staff. I just don't know how that's going to work over 162. So we'll have to see how that goes. But obviously the number one in that division is going to be the Yankees. Number two could be the Red Sox. I mean, are we talking Yankees, Red Sox? Because the Red Sox got really good with their pitching staff. I don't think that their pitching staff is up to par with the Yankees yet. And their offense is going to be, I think they'll have a lot of offense, but I don't know how much they'll be able to hit against other teams that have good, solid pitching in their division. So it's going to be really interesting to kind of go through all of those divisions and kind of break it all down. But we'll definitely get into that as we get closer to spring training with pitchers and catchers reporting in just about, I think we're approaching 3 weeks, right? February 12th is majority of the teams. I think some teams are reporting earlier on the 11th, maybe even the 10th. They're reporting pretty much all that week. So yeah, we'll definitely get into that for sure. Otis chiming in, Santander, another guy the Giants should have gotten, could have been a DH for the Giants. Yeah, I'm with you, Otis. I just don't think, like when you look at the numbers, and we talked about the numbers. It was a 5-year, $92.5 million deal for the Blue Jays and Santander, but 35 of it, I don't know if you guys saw this, 35 of it was 35 million was deferred money. So that's about like a little bit over a third of that contract. If you're not including the 6-year team option, over a third of that contract is deferred money. And that's where we get to the Dodgers. That's where we get into this conversation. What time is Kitchen Nightmares on tonight, Tacky? Hey, dude, I don't know if Derek's just screwing around right now. We're going to welcome in Derek as soon as he pops in to the green room. But he's talking about Kitchen Nightmares. I get down with Gordon Ramsay, dude. I get down with Gordon Ramsay and Kitchen Nightmares. So I don't know if he's just fucking around with you, Tacky, but I get down with Kitchen Nightmares. Speaking of the devil, we have Mr. Derek Papa himself stepping into the green room. Let's welcome him in. Derek Papa, or D-Pop. What do you want me to call you here, Derek?
Derek's fine. D-Pop is just a stupid name I put on the show for dirty work so people can understand that it's not Papa and Cope. It's not Greg Papa. It's Derek Papa. Yeah, whatever. You can call me whatever you want, Walt. You call me Ho anyway. So
I defer to I defer to Ho for majority of the people that I work with.
Walter, just love to throw a good Ho out there.
I do. Yeah, throwing hose left and right. Derek, what's up, dude? How you doing, man? How was the show today?
Show was good. It was a nice jam-packed hour and a half show. It's always good to come in on a holiday and realize you're only working for an hour and a half, so you get that comp day.
Yeah, dude, that was a good deal for you. I mean, working half a day and getting a full comp day, dude. That's a win-win for you.
Well, initially, Mike Kohler was like, we're not going to do shows on MLK Day. I was like, you don't need to tell me twice. I'm good. And then he was like, well, the morning show's going to do their show. And I'm like, so what, we're just doing everything based on what Murph and Marcus do now? I want my time off, damn it.
Yeah, that's how it works.
But then he told me it was an hour and a half show and we get the comp day. So I was like, yeah, you don't need to twist my arm. I'm good. What's going on,
Nice,
Otis
dude.
Bird and Lori?
Yeah, Lori in the chat, Otis Bird in the chat. Tacky was in here. I don't know where Tacky is.
He went
at
to go
the
watch
moment.
Kitchen Nightmares, and I'm down with Kitchen Nightmares too. I'm a big fan of Kitchen Nightmares. Watching my mom.
Did you watch the first episode of Kitchen Nightmares? The Road to New Orleans. Have you watched that? Or Road to the Super Bowl,
so I haven't seen it recently. But I have seen old episodes with my mom when I visit her in Florida.
Hell yeah.
Every show is the same type of formula where it's the family. You know, it's like a husband and wife initially had the restaurant, and then they give it to their son. The son's the fuck up that really didn't put some time and effort into it. Yeah. And then Gordon Ramsay comes in. He's like, "You gotta take this seriously."
Yeah.
I don't know what voice I just did, but yes.
I don't know what that was either. Shut it down.
Shut it down
right now.
Yeah, I'm making him sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Fuck off. I like that one. Yeah. No, Gordon Ramsay's cool. Dude, I wasn't really into like the Food Network stuff too much.
Big Food Network guy. Big Food Network guy.
Yes, I could tell, Derek. But
what the hell's that mean?
I don't know what it means. No, so I wasn't really like huge on Food Network until like I started watching a lot of shows with my girlfriend, right? So she got me huge. I'm like a big Gordon Ramsay fan now. Like I'm watching Top Chef. I'm watching Hell's Kitchen. That's the original show, right? The with Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah,
Hell's Kitchen.
That's the original one.
Kitchen Nightmares. They got all that.
Dude, Tacky will know. Do they still do the show where he yells at the kids, the Kitchen Nightmares version of that, or Hell's Kitchen, where it's like young prodigies trying to learn how to cook, and he's like, "You fucking kids don't know anything about cooking," and then he just crushes their souls.
He doesn't curse at the kids there.
No,
Jesus
I know.
Christ.
He's much nicer on that show. He's much nicer on that show.
Yeah, it's I think it's called Master Chef Junior, and yes, he still does that. I don't know what the schedule is. But no, I watched the first episode. I think it was the first episode because I think that's all that's been out so far. But I watched the first episode of Kitchen Nightmares, Road to the Super Bowl, and it pissed me off. Like it was crazy, man. Like the people running that business, like they had no reason of being restaurant owners.
That's usually the case with most of those episodes.
Yeah.
Did I see correctly? One of the episodes, it's him hanging out with Rob McElhenney and Caitlin Olsen from Sunny in Philadelphia.
For Kitchen Nightmares?
Maybe it's not Kitchen Nightmares. Maybe it was something else where they're all hanging out.
I mean, see, and that's the thing with Gordon Ramsay. I mean, he has like a whole bunch of shows that he does, man. So I mean, I can't really keep them all lined up.
Well, that's the thing with Food Network, because they give, like, Guy Fieri has like 5 shows. There's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. There's the Guys Grocery Games or whatever the hell.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
And then they give all the shows to the other guy, that pompous ass on the Food Network. Bobby Flay.
Bobby Flay. Yeah, beat Bobby
Dude,
Flay.
God.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, I do enjoy watching beat Bobby Flay because I just want to see him just get beat because he's just so fucking arrogant. I can't stand that guy.
I don't think a lot of people like him. You know, we almost had him on for Radio Row last year. He was an option.
Ooh, that would have been nice.
We declined. We didn't try to go.
I have
down
no
that
time
route
for chefs.
Bobby Flay. Yeah, we got to talk about the game, Walter. What do you mean? I have no time for cheeseburgers.
I need to yell at Mitchell Schwartz for picking or Jeff Schwartz. I need for him to yell at him for picking the Chiefs.
Oh, dude,
it's always bang bang Niner gang.
That's hilarious. Tacky chiming in. He is back from getting his DoorDash order. What's on the menu tonight, Tacky? Saying that he had the pod in the corner. She goes, "What's this?" Tacky said, "Walter." She said, "Oh, fuck off, Walter." So Tacky's wife doesn't like me apparently.
Dude,
That's nice.
Tacky watches the worst shows. He's like Derek. So earlier in the chat.
Thanks, Derek. Jesus.
Well, no, like
watches the worst shows. Hey, welcome to the podcast.
Well, no, like, hey, listen, I know Tacky, all right, and I can say all this, but like, he always ditches Just Your Opinion Man for Kitchen Nightmares, and I'm like, so what time you watching Kitchen Nightmares tonight? He's like, oh, tonight's Criminal Minds. Criminal Minds? What are you watching?
Wow.
What are you watching? Cold Case after that?
Was
or
Tacky,
CSI Miami?
Tacky
or The Practice?
A Blue Bloods guy? Was he a huge Tom Selleck fan?
Was Tom Selleck on Blue Bloods?
Yeah, Blue Bloods. Yeah, he just retired.
I don't watch any network shows anymore.
Really?
Back in the day when I was a kid,
streaming stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like like Danny's talking to me about like Danny, my man Danny Dunn, he was in the chat earlier.
Yes.
My man watches.
He's awake. He's alive.
I know he watches a lot of shows, so I always ask him on what like shows I should be watching. I can't remember what he recommended me yesterday, but yeah, I don't do a lot of network TV shows anymore. No, I just it's a lot of crap these days. Like I watch like the football promos, just like coming up on Monday. It's this show, The Big Bang Theory spinoff of one of the characters you didn't even know, coming this Sunday or this Monday, whatever.
Tacky chiming in real quick. Ain't gonna be no Criminal Minds slander on my watch. Yeah, I don't really watch a lot of TV. But
Otis
I
Bird,
do like
yes.
What's up?
He just like, yes, a lot of network shows aren't good anymore. Grew up with TGI. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I don't really watch. You know what? This one show, and then we'll start talking some sports because it's a sports podcast. I started watching.
It doesn't have to be.
Have you seen anything on The Trader? You see anything on that?
I have no idea what that is, Walt.
It's on Peacock. It's on your favorite streaming network.
Oh, the cock.
And yeah, and it's basically like it's kind of like Clue. Like you got to find out who the traitors are or who the killers are. So it's a variation of that, but it's pretty entertaining. They have various reality TV show personalities, like from Big Brother and some other shows and Survivor and Real Housewives and all that kind of, like it's like just a hodgepodge of TV personalities on there, and they're trying to find out who's the liar. So it's pretty interesting.
Okay.
You're a Survivor fan, right? You watch Survivor or no?
No, only the first season with the naked guy, Richard Hatch.
Oh, Richard Hatch. Yeah, no, he's not on there, but a big Survivor guy, because Peacock's paying me to do this promo. Getting
paid by the cock, huh?
Yeah, right. Of course, wouldn't have it any other way. But a big guy that's on the show is Boston Rob, and he's like a Survivor legend.
I know Boston Rob. I watched.
So he's on it.
I watched
Wes, you ever watch The Challenge on MTV?
The Challenge?
Yeah, you ever watch that?
I remember from back in the day, Road Rules and Real World Challenge, where they put the two together.
Yeah, so they have this dude, another like a challenge legend, Wes. He kind of looks like a lumberjack, and he has a ginger beard, bald head. Yeah, you might know who he is. But anyways, it's an interesting show. I kind of dove into it this past weekend, so I don't know if anybody else is watching that.
I know Boston Rob from Deal or No Deal Island. I watched a little bit with my mom in Florida when I was visiting.
It's another show I watched. It's a great show.
Yes, it's good. It picked up.
It's good. I like it. I'm watching season 2.
Okay, I found it kind of the dude from the bully from Spider-Man is the host, and he's kind of cheesy when he does it.
Oh, Flash.
Yeah, Flash Thompson.
That's where he's from, dude. I forget.
Yes.
I always look at him. I'm like, where the hell do I know this guy from?
Yeah, he was
I completely forgot.
He was like a 35-year-old guy in high school just kicking the crap out of Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, I remember that. Where do you stand, real quick, before we get into some sports talk? Where do you stand on the Spider-Man movies? Who's your favorite Spider-Man? You going Tobey?
Dude.
You going Andrew Garfield? Or you going Tom Holland?
Hands down,
AKA Greg Silver.
Oh yeah, I kind of see it. I'm definitely going Tobes McGobes every time. Tobey Maguire.
Dude, yeah.
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
yes, Tobey
That's our
Maguire
guy.
was the original Spider-Man. All these knockoffs. I'm not a fan of Andrew Garfield. Not a fan of Tom Holland. The Miles Morales Spider-Verse ones are not bad.
Yeah,
but yeah, dude, Tobey Maguire, like those were the best movies.
When are they putting out the second one? I'm waiting for the second one to come out for Into the Spider-Verse.
They did that.
No. I'm waiting for the third one.
Yeah.
Left us on a huge cliffhanger, man. I'm waiting to see what happens.
Apparently, apparently found out that Miles, or the guy that plays him in the movie, is kind of a creepo.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess we're not getting a third one.
No, we are. It's just he's got to go away for a little bit of time, and then he'll come back. That's how canceling works, Walt.
Yeah, that's how canceling works. You got to go away for 5 years, and then you're fine.
Maybe not even
afterwards.
5 years.
No, all right. But okay,
sometimes it's
Derek,
4 years. I was watching the national championship, and then Trump had a message for everybody, so I was like, okay, time to hop on with Walt.
That's why you were delayed, huh? You were watching the football. How's the football game going right now? Is it still 14-7?
No, it's 21-7. Ohio State's pulling away.
Dante loves it.
Yeah, Dante's all about it, as he was saying on the show a couple weeks ago. These guys are hitting. They are hitting. So I would anticipate Ohio State's going to be your national champion.
All right, man. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect it any other way. But we were talking earlier, Derek. I kind of want, before we get into baseball talk, I do want to get your thoughts on football, because we were watching a lot of good football this weekend, and we were talking about Gordon Ramsay and that road to the Super Bowl, and that kind of just piques my interest. So now we have the Final Four, right? It's the Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles, and the Commandos.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think it all ends up? Who do you think, not the Super Bowl champion, but who do you think is playing in New Orleans?
If I had to say right now, I'm going to go with the Eagles and the Bills. And yeah, watching those games over the weekend, the Eagles did the same recipe as they did a week ago. It was play good defense and run the hell out of the football. Saquon Barkley gets 200 yards on the Rams once again, but not a lot from Jalen Hurts. And I've been really disappointed in Jalen Hurts the last 2 weeks. It mainly because, yeah, I understand he's rusty coming off the concussions, but at the same time, like, I don't know, like, just, you got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith. You should do more. But, yeah, like I said, the defense is playing really well. Jalen Carter had an amazing performance yesterday. Zach Bond, I think, is a dark horse for Defensive Player of the Year, but that's already been determined. None of these playoff, performances are going to help him get the award or anything.
Right,
but,
yeah,
I mean, Jalen Hurts, like, it looks like he got hurt a little bit in that game, getting his ankle twisted back at one point. But if they could just run the football with Saquon, I think they'll be fine. In order for them to beat either the Chiefs or the Bills, I think the Eagles are going to have to get the passing game going. But yeah, the Bills' performance was awesome. Really, the difference in that game were the 3 turnovers that Baltimore, or the Bills caused off Baltimore, and then the drop 2-point conversion by Mark Andrews was brutal. But I'm happy the Bills won, and I'm hoping that they can pull off the upset against the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that too. I know Greg is hoping for that as well. He sent me in silver a photo, and it's enlarged. Let me actually pull it up. But it's essentially Mark Andrews just not catching the football. And I asked him if that's his screensaver, and he has yet to reply. He's huge on sending the message, and then he doesn't reply. He's huge on that. But this is what he sent me. This is what he sent me. And I asked him if that's his screensaver, and I haven't had a response yet. So we'll have to see. I'll have to pepper him on questions.
Yeah, my dad's big on responding once, but then not responding again, as you said.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So like every year it's my birthday, I text him like, you know what day it is, and he goes no, and I say it's my birthday, and no response.
Okay, I'm sorry, Derek. Sorry to open up that wound.
Can we talk some sports, Walt? Can we talk some sports?
Yeah, let's get into.
You're opening the wounds.
I'm sorry. I'll put a Band-Aid over it. Really quick, just to go back to the football conversation. So NFC Championship game. It's the Eagles and the Commanders. Last time that they faced off, I think the Commanders they had a huge comeback, right? They came back in a massive way against the Eagles. So I guess my question is, because we saw the high tick of scoring offense from the Commanders, against the Lions on the road. My question is, do you think that they're capable of doing that again in Philly? Is it going to be a different type of game? Is it going to be a lower scoring game because this is the third time that they're playing each other? These teams know each other really well. And if it does turn into a shootout, can the Eagles win that type of game with Jalen Hurts and how he's not looking himself?
I don't know if they can win a shootout at this point. I think they can win a defense slobber knocker game. But as far as like the game that they had a couple weeks ago where Jalen Hurts was concussed and Kenny Pickett had to come in and they were up like 21-7, Jaden Daniels threw 5 touchdown passes to win that game. I don't know if the Eagles are capable of winning that game anymore, but they're going to have to be to play the Chiefs or the Bills. Against the Commanders, I think they can figure it out. I think that they can have a good defensive scheme. It wasn't effective the last time they played, but maybe that was because the defense was on the field. Like, the thing that the Eagles have to do better at is, not keeping the defense on the field for so long when they get tired. Like, that's what happened. Like, we thought the game was over when Saquon rushed 78 yards for that touchdown and should have iced the game, but it didn't. So Jalen Hurts has got to help his defense out a little bit. He's got to be more than just handing off to Saquon. And then, I thought the snow really bothered him. Matthew Stafford was better in the snow than Jalen Hurts was. And I'm surprised by that in a dome. But then again, I don't remember Jalen Hurts ever playing in the snow before. So he was definitely bothered by that. But yeah, I think Fangio could scheme it up a little bit. Like, I think the Commanders, their performance was amazing. It was a mix of Jared Goff having a crappy game, but also, the defense finally bursting for the Lions. Like, there's so many injuries they had, like Carlton Davis, the cornerback, and Aiden Hutchinson. And in the end, like, it wasn't like their whole plan was to outscore the opposing team and be like the 99 Rams, but the 99 Rams actually had a pretty good defense. This Lions team was depleted and they couldn't stop them. And I was texting you about how Dan Quinn needs to, call a timeout when there's 12 men on the field for that 4th and 2. If you stop them there, you have a chance to win that game. Yep. But once, that penalty is called, 1st and goal on the 1-yard line, touchdown, 45-28, game's over. Right. And if you're Dan Campbell and you're trying to reserve your touchdowns for later in the game, that's stupid. You got to reserve the points to get back in the game. So I don't understand that. Dan Campbell could cry and say, like, oh, it's all my fault. It's all my fault. Yeah, it is. And Ben Johnson leaves today to coach the Bears. So we'll see how they are in the future. But you have to give a lot of credit to Jaden Daniels. I mean, when you look at rookie quarterbacks that have taken their teams to NFC championship games or championship games in general, they usually have a top 10 defense, and the Commanders are not that this season. So what Jaden Daniels is doing is pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's putting the team on his back, and he's one win away from being the first rookie to participate in it. Ever in a Super Bowl, right?
No one's ever. No. Ben Roethlisberger couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Who else? Joe Flacco.
Brock got
Purdy.
close. Yeah. So
Sean King.
Yeah, Sean King. Mark Sanchez also made it to the championship game and wasn't able to pull it off. So, it's going to be really interesting, man. I mean, I think when you're looking at all the teams, obviously in the Bay Area, you're kind of just going off of anybody but the Chiefs. But I think that there's a little bit of rooting interest for the Commanders because as we were talking about, I think we were talking about it yesterday when we were watching the football games. I asked you, like, who was the team that the Commanders beat in the Super Bowl the last time that they won? I wasn't even born yet. I think you were probably like 1-2 years old in '91. So, but they played the Bills. So that'd be kind of exciting to see that full circle moment if it was Bills and Commanders. Well, so we'll have to see if that can come into play on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, and also the Bay Area ties to it. Adam Peters, the assistant GM of the 49ers a year ago now, and had success instantly. And Ben Johnson was supposed to be the head coach of the Commanders last year, and then was not interested in the job, and the Commanders beat him, and now he goes off to Chicago. But I mean, the Commanders are a good story this year, but I don't know. There's a time and place, and I think that Jaden Daniels has his whole career ahead of him to go to the Super Bowl. I think it's a little too quick. They
said that about Dan Marino too. He never made it back. So
but he did his second year. Second year, right. So he did never make it back. But
they all said the same thing. They're like, oh, it's okay. He has his whole career ahead of him and never made it back. That's such a bad beat, bro. Like to come into that 2 years in, and you're playing in the Super Bowl, and you maybe think oh, this is how things are gonna go with me here, and then just never got back. What was the closest they ever got after that Super Bowl?
Dano and the Dolphins?
Yeah, did they ever get to a championship game?
Yeah, a few. They lost to the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. But yeah, Marino never had postseason success like he did in 1984.
Yeah.
And yeah, Otis Bird with the update here. It's 28-7 Ohio State now.
Oof. Yeah, so that's a done deal. Thank you for the update, Otis.
That's
always
why
love
Otis
to see
Bird is the
Otis in here.
word, man.
Oh yeah, the bird is the word. Hell yeah, dude.
So Walt, before we get into baseball and football
Yes.
talk, I want to ask you. I came on here really to steal
ahead.
some information from you and some technology.
All right,
How the
go
hell are
ahead.
you taking calls on your podcast? That's what I want to know.
How am I taking calls? So I have a phone number dedicated to Passion for the Pastime. And essentially right here, my little box here that you're seeing here.
Yeah, it's quite the box.
I can hook up my phone, my cell phone. So I'm having the calls get screened to my cell phone,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm able to just pot it up. And it
I
works.
like it.
And it works. It's a good system.
So that's through your Roadcaster.
Yeah, it's through the Roadcaster, my old school Roadcaster. Yeah, so that's how you could do it. It's pretty simple. I can show you. I can produce for you for Just Your Opinion, man. I can get that working for you.
There you go. Walter's our new producer on Just Your Opinion, man. It's all part of the J Yum Podcast Network.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. The chat is actually ripping me right now because they said almost pulled a Walter. I think that's Ernie saying that he almost didn't show up. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the podcast. You got Derek Papa here. Let's see what. Oh, Rocket New Era makes beats on his downtime. I can make a good beat. You know me.
Yeah.
Derek did say that I have Kendrick Lamar energy, so I'm not sure if
He
that
does.
falls under the category there.
Well, Kendrick never made his own beats, but yeah, like Walter, Walter's got like a good kid, Mad City vibe to him.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Derek. Derek really giving me the street cred there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we definitely got to do.
Don't ask Walt about his past.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't. I'll avoid it like the plague. I plead the fifth on everything that you asked me about my past. But yeah, man. No, last night or yesterday was pretty fun. Also, watching the games and being out there as long as we were, and we went through that entire menu. Did we not order an appetizer? Or did we touch everything on that menu?
I think we literally ordered every appetizer on that menu. And
we ordered wings twice. I know that. We got wings twice.
Yeah, I didn't do a good job of dividing up the how much you guys owe me, because going through the math again, I was like, shit, I was too nice.
I'll send you some more. I'll send you some more.
No, you're fine. I'm really looking at Michael Connell. Michael Connell owes me more money.
Yeah, Michael Connell. Yeah,
because he went through like a sandwich and his own wings. Yeah.
He was racking it up more than everybody. And I would like to say that Michael Connell was the first one to leave. So he was trying to get the hell out of Dodge. He was like, "Oh yeah, my ride's here. I got to leave."
No, it was good planning on his part. But yeah, Danny Dunn running up the pitchers, my man Marcus Boucher running up the pitchers. It was a nice time out, but
it was fun. Yeah,
I hate being stuck with the bill. I have to say.
Well, you getting paid the big bucks, Derek. So that's
that is true. And
that's
next time I won't be the first one that shows up. How about that?
How about that? Were you the first one that showed up, or was Danny there first? Who
I was there first. I saw Danny,
nice.
And I was the stupid one to put my card on file.
Hell yeah, dude!
No, I'm kidding. It was a good time with everybody. It
was fun. It was another fun. It was another fun time with the boys, and yeah, we're talking about our fun time.
We pissed off the
we pissed off the Ernies, we pissed off Tacky, we pissed off everybody.
Yeah, I know. They hit me up too. They wanted me to come out and hang out, but we may do something soon here.
We will. We'll do something soon. We'll do a little meetup. Because again, I do have to say that this was pre-planned. This was pre-planned months in advance. So
yes.
So yeah,
we'll do a J-Yum / Passive for the Pastime meetup.
Meetup, and then we'll do a crossover episode. We'll have Steven on here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is in the works. Is there a way we go live on both of our channels at the same time?
I'm pretty sure that is possible. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's possible. We'll figure it out. We'll have to do some tests at 2 a.m. in the morning on the weekend. We'll definitely do some tests and figure it out.
Okay, I'm down.
But Derek Papa of Dirty Work, how's the show been going, man? I listen all the time. It's a lot of fun.
Terrible. It's been absolutely terrible.
Yeah. Copes is the worst. Tim's the worst. All those guys.
I mean, it really is Tim, but yeah, Copes is just a goddamn menace. No, it's been fun. we're still trying to find our rhythm and voice for the show, and I hope people are enjoying it. But yeah, we're having fun with it. We're still figuring things out, and it's awesome. We joke on the show like, oh, I have to do so much. I'm the producer. I'm the host, co-host, but it's awesome to be kind of in control of your own radio show in that way.
Yeah.
And it's cool to do it with two of your best friends. So yeah, I'm having a fun time doing it.
Yeah, man. It sounds like a lot of fun. So I enjoy it. Keep doing that. For sure. But dude, so did you guys talk any baseball today? You only had like a 90-minute show, right? So you guys didn't talk anything, right?
No baseball today, but we did talk a little bit. Like the Roki Sasaki news broke on Friday.
Oh, yeah. It was during your show.
Yes,
like
so
the last hour. Or so.
Yeah, so we reacted to that for a little bit, and none of us were surprised. Like we had Jack Loader screaming his head off in the bullpen, and I was like, didn't we expect this to happen? And I know Giants fans are upset because it feels like every player goes to the Dodgers, and they do. Like Tanner Scott, the relief pitcher, signed yesterday.
Yep.
And Larry Krueger brought this up when he was on with us on Friday, and this is something I want to get into a little bit more tomorrow on Dirty Work.
Yeah.
Baseball is, I don't think dead, but I mean, it's definitely going in the direction of a niche sport right now.
Right.
Like it's not the same as it used to be on ESPN. Like when I was a kid, dude, I loved Baseball Tonight and Web Gems, and I could tell you every player in the home run derby. And maybe this is just me kind of being more casual these days, but it's just not the same. It's not marketed the same. And a lot of it is because of Rob Manfred. I don't think that he's a very good commissioner at all.
Nope.
I know from what I've read and seen, most baseball fans hate him. To refer to the trophy, the World Series trophy, is just like a hunk of metal is ridiculous and is disparaging towards the game that he's the face of, really. And that's also the thing too, is like there's not many faces. Obviously Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge, but if it were up to Manfred, every big name player would be in a big name market.
Yep.
So that's why the Dodgers are able to do this, and that's why the Yankees are able to do this. And I never love the structure of baseball as far as just if you have the money, then there is no salary cap. It's all based on what you do financially as an organization. And there's structure to that. Like for years ago in the last CBA, not the last CBA, but when the NFL was going through their lockout in 2011, there was a whole thing about maybe changing it to more baseball rules, where if you are a team in a big market, then you're able to, there is no salary cap. You're able to sign whoever the hell you want to. And that was a huge problem for Al Davis. He was one of the few owners that was like, I can't stand for that. Financially, I do not have the money to support free agency. So I need a salary cap. And the other owners agreed. And now the NBA is going that way a little bit. They got the aprons and whatnot and salary caps, but some teams, you can do the luxury tax like the Warriors always do. They actually might need it this year. But yeah, I understand, baseball fans' pain. And like it sucks when the major, talking heads out there like Colin Cowherd is like, I would love for Juan Soto to be on the Dodgers. I want every player on the Dodgers. And like that's not good for baseball. It's not good for baseball, but it's good for him because that's all he knows. He's not a baseball guy.
Yep.
So I don't know how you feel, but I do think I heard you bring it up earlier. The CBA is up after 2026. Is that correct, Walt?
After 2026, yeah, they'll go back into negotiations, and that's going to be really interesting, man, because you got to figure there has to be some type of limitations. Like the Dodgers can't continue to get away with this, and then like the talking heads and everybody that has an opinion on ESPN and MLB Network and just anybody that has an opinion on the game of baseball. They'll say this is great. Like this is great for the game, that this is if you want to stop them, then compete with them. Throw your dollar, your checkbook at these players but there's no competing in that. Like when you have a team with the Dodgers that just have endless amount of money, they could just throw whatever dollar amount, and then obviously it doesn't necessarily even have to be a huge dollar amount because of what they have created now. Is that people just want to go there. Now they have a culture but it all stemming from them overspending to where all these other teams, all these other markets, like there's no chance for like the Cubs. Like I would be highly shocked. I know that they came to an arbitration hearing and they have Kyle Tucker locked up for a good dollar amount this year, but he's going to hit free agency and he's not going to have any chance, or the Cubs are not going to have any chance of re-signing him. Like, I don't see that as being a possibility. You'll probably see him in Boston. You'll probably see him in New York, or you'll see him in LA. Like, that's where it all comes down to with these big free agents. I just don't think that it's good for the game of baseball. Objectivity is chiming in on this conversation, says baseball has been dying for decades. We all know that. This Dodgers team has injected life into it. I feel on the opposite side of that. I feel like this is kind of digging a grave because there's not. I mean, there's also the fine line, right? Like you're looking at the parity in like the NBA, right? And I think the NBA has gone too far with the play-in tournament, and it's just like mediocre basketball at that point. But when you look at basketball, like you have teams that can compete for a title or compete in the playoffs, other than like maybe like two or three, four teams that are making the playoff bracket. But baseball, I mean, you're just gonna keep getting the Dodgers and the Yankees every damn year. Like it just
not
doesn't,
necessarily, Walt.
What's the point? Yeah, what do you mean not necessarily?
I mean, prior to last year, what was the last time the two were in the World Series together?
Well, no, I mean, yeah, that's true. But when you put together these super rosters, like you put together these super teams, it just amplifies, because baseball is a different animal in that it is the hardest sport to repeat in. Right? Oh, yeah. I mean, we haven't had a repeat. Like we don't have a team that's doing what the Chiefs do. Right?
Would you say it's rare that the best team usually wins?
I mean, up until recently, no. Rare that the best team wins?
I always think like the best team in the regular season, it's always hard to duplicate that in the postseason. And I hear you, like, yes, the Dodgers and Yankees are set up for most success, but it never translates all the time. Like I know the Dodgers won in 2020, but that doesn't count. This year it finally panned out for them. Right. But mostly I feel like there's so much parity. Like in any sport, the most parity is in baseball. And that's why the ratings are not as good, because you don't have the big market teams always winning. You have, people don't like the Houston Astros because they cheated. And that's like the last big national story that I can remember in baseball where everybody had an opinion. People know Shohei Ohtani, but it's different. Like I remember as a kid, you watched the Astros and the Chicago White Sox in the 2005 World Series, and that was entertaining as hell. Mm-hmm. Today, the ratings for that would be piss poor because our attention spans are horrible these days. Mm-hmm. So if it's not a big market team that the likes of, First Take can talk about, then it's not gonna be very good. And even then, like Yankees, Dodgers, in comparison to NFL games, I mean, it's no comparison, obviously. So my whole thing is, I hear you. Yes, it's set up for the Dodgers to have success year in and year out, but it doesn't always translate that way. Like it sometimes, as I said, the best team always doesn't win. It's the team that has the best bullpen, and now the Dodgers have the best everything at this point.
Well, see, but that's where you get into the problem, right? I mean, baseball is hard to repeat. Baseball is hard for teams to have, continued success over a long period of time. But when you look at how they are set up, and yes, injuries in every sport, injuries are always hard. And that always hinders a team from repeating, right? But the Dodgers have it set up to where they have the best lineup, they have the best pitching staff, they have the best bullpen, and it's like they just continue to have these dollar amounts on these players, have it be deferred, and it just keeps getting pushed back to where these guys are coming into Los Angeles and just continuing to put together a super team. I just don't know how that's good for the game of baseball. Yeah, are they a shoe-in are they a lock to win the World Series? Well, I mean, they're the favorites. Are they a lock? No, because a lot of things can happen over the course of 162. And as you mentioned, yes, there is a lot of parity in baseball because it's always down to who's the hottest at the right time when we get into the postseason. But I think that the Dodgers just have such a stranglehold over, like, they have a lot of depth organizationally, and because of what they've been able to do in free agency and in the international market, I just feel like they've cornered the market to where they have all their pieces set up to make that more of a possibility for them to go deep and repeat again because of the international market. Like, you see what they've done with Yamamoto, you saw what they did with Shohei Ohtani, and then that translates to Roki Sasaki.
Yeah.
I am in full belief that Munetaka Murakami, when he comes over next year and he's posted, he's going to be a Dodger. I don't see him going anywhere else. Why else would he go somewhere else? The Dodgers can continue just to keep doing this. And that's where I think when you look to the CBA, you look to where you can combat that. Like, do you limit, like, is there a way for you to limit international signings per team? Like, is there a dollar amount? Because I know they reset the dollar amount that they can use internationally every season, right? But do you limit, like, okay, well, you signed them this year, you can't sign them next year? Like, how do you combat that, I guess? Because they have such a stranglehold over the pipeline in Japan. It's just, I don't see Murakami going anywhere else. Like, I just don't see, like, is he gonna end up in Chicago somehow? I don't know, but I just see that the Dodgers just continue to get these guys on their roster, and they just continue to defer money, and they're able to monopolize the market almost.
Yeah, and I'm sure Rob Manfred loves it because if you get a team that's going to be dynastic in baseball right now that stands out, you're going to have better viewership for that particular team because they're in a big market. But no, I mean, I definitely hear you, Walt. And yeah, there probably should be a structure kind of like what the NBA does now where, I don't know the whole logistics of everything, of aprons and whatnot, but there's a way to do it. Like, every team has to spend a certain amount of money, but you also can't go crazy. You have to spend some of your own money to do that. So that would also not prevent the Dodgers from signing guys. But you did bring up one thing that I kind of want to ask you about. Yeah. You said the Dodgers have a culture right now. Do they really have a culture? Like, what is their culture? It's just, you're good. You're coming to this team. You're a mercenary, really. Like, does anybody identify really as a Dodger on this team? Like, I know, like when I think Mookie Betts, he's been there for a long time now, but sure. I think Red Sox. When I think of Freddie Freeman, I think of the Atlanta Braves. Yeah. It's 1 year with Ohtani, and it takes time for all these things. But like, it was like I saw like some people say like this is what it feels like when, and I understand what non-Warrior fans feel like when we got Kevin Durant. It wasn't like the Warriors had 5 Kevin Durants on one starting 5.
Right.
That's one thing I find like ridiculous is because yes, Kevin Durant was a huge factor on that Warriors championship run, but it wasn't like they went out and signed like another superstar after that. Now they did go get DeMarcus Cousins, and that starting 5 was ridiculous, but they never were healthy. So you would know better than me on how to fix it, but it's a mix. I feel like baseball heads are pissed off. Like, if the Chiefs just signed it's impossible for any NFL team to replicate what the Dodgers are doing right now because there's a salary cap. It would be like, think of every big name free agent you could think of this offseason in NFL, and the Chiefs signed them. And you're like, they didn't need him because it's just overkill at this point. But yeah, man, I baseball heads hate this, but casuals who just root for the Yankees and Dodgers love this shit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when you get into the culture conversation, and what's interesting is like, okay, when the CBA comes and if they were to implement, it's never going to happen, but if they were to implement like a salary cap, like you just cap it off at a hard number, I think that it's to a point that with all these deferrals, unless they police that also, like there's going to be ways that you can find, just like the same thing in the NFL. You find ways to get under the cap. There's ways to manipulate the dollar. So I mean, a salary cap could help, but I don't think that that's going to be a possibility in baseball, and be the solution, right? But to get back to your question on the culture of the Dodgers, It's a lot of guys that are brought in. Like, I mean, yeah, when you think of Freddie Freeman, you think of the Braves, you think of Mookie Betts, you think of the Red Sox, you think of Tyler Glasnow, you think of the Reds, like or the Rays, excuse me.
Yeah.
You start thinking of all these superstars that were previously on other teams. But the difference is, and where I think that their culture is that they are an organization, and that's why you're seeing a lot of guys either, take less or take the deferrals and push it back so that they can continue to compete now. They're willing to do that because the Dodgers have built an organization that is dedicated to winning. That is their culture. That is their definition of the culture. And these guys can come in here and compete for a championship. I mean, they have a stranglehold over the division already. So then you figure, all right, well, they just have to get the 1 seed and just win a couple of playoff series, and you're in the World Series already. So they have just a organizational, culture. That's what I would call it, in that they are dedicated to winning, that they're going to go compete and get these free agent guys. Even they didn't need Tanner Scott. I think that's the thing that's frustrating when you look at when it comes to the salary cap. They didn't need Tanner Scott, but they went ahead and did it anyway. Like they didn't need that in the bullpen. They already had a stacked bullpen, and they're just like, oh yeah, you know what? Tanner Scott's out there. We're looking at Kirby Yates also, but Tanner Scott's clearly the better pitcher in the market. Let's go get him. Money ain't a thing. You know what I mean? And then they go get him, and they have the best bullpen. They have the best starting rotation. They have the best lineup in all of baseball. But they're an organization that is committed to winning, and winning now, and winning fiercely. I think that's their culture, and that's their calling card. But then also, why you're seeing, like with Roki Sasaki coming over to the Dodgers, they have a really good farm system. And that's kind of how this all started with the Dodgers, in that they were really good at building up their prospects and building up their major league roster and their farm system, to where now they had all those pieces lined up. I know a lot of those farm pieces are no longer there and no longer relevant, but that's how it all started. And they kept certain pieces to continue on into this model. But then they're like, okay, we have the foundation and we have the longevity. We can start spending the money.
So what do you think is a better strategy as far as, competing? Is it the Dodger approach of just saying, fuck them picks in a way like the Rams did, where you say, like, you build up the farm system, but you trade it all the way to get veteran players, and you go after championships in a short amount of time? Where the Giants now, Buster Posey, it kind of feels like he's not going to do the Farhan thing, but he is going to kind of do the, evaluation season, where he's going to look at everybody on this roster and everybody that's going to be called up this year and see if they're worth a damn. And then go through the whole process of, is Bob Melvin my guy, or most of these guys my guys? So do you think, like, would you prefer if the Giants operated in the same way as the Yankees and the Dodgers? And, like, who else in baseball operates the same way? Boston Red Sox. I'm surprised for you to say the Chicago Cubs are cheap, but you would know better than me. And yes, historically, now thinking about it, they never really spend any money. So yeah, you would say, like, it's only like a handful of teams that really go after it, like the Giants or the Yankees and Dodgers do.
The only team that I could see that can compete financially, I mean, obviously
Mets.
The Yankees are always going to be there, but yeah, Steve Cohen and the Mets. That's what's going. That, I mean, when you see like this evil rising in Major League Baseball, right? You see the Dodgers just rising. You have to have someone from the light. I'm getting into my nerddom here with Star Wars. When you see darkness rise, you got to meet it with the light, right? So that could be what the Mets can hold, right? But yeah, a lot of teams don't do that, but that's also because I saw somebody in the YouTube chat earlier that they said this, and they're spot on, is that the ownership doesn't want to throw out that money. The ownership isn't willing to do that. I'm not saying that that's the case for the Giants. I mean, there's a time and a place to where you can do that. But I mean, when you look over history, they haven't really done that. Even when they were winning World Series championships, they weren't really going out and getting guys, but that's because they were able to have that farm system and have that pipeline to where it was the right time to strike with their guys. Then they went out and made some trades, and they had deep farm system, and they were able to acquire guys like a Hunter Pence and like a Marco Scudero. But even that's like small things. So the Giants kind of, I mean, you would want them to be a big market and spend big dollar, but they operate like a small market team. Like they're like, and honestly, to come out of this hole, and I think that's why you're not seeing, I mean, the Giants are spending a lot of money right now. Their tax line, I think with the signing of Joey Lucchesi today, I want to say that they're at like 223 for their luxury tax. So they're just under like 20 million before they get to that first tier of the luxury tax. So they're spending money. And I mean, they've tried on some of these bigger free agents, but I don't think that they're in a situation to where like they're one bat away, they're one arm away from competing in the West. I mean, also to say the wild card, right? So will they ever get to that? Will they ever get to that level of spending? I don't think so. Like, I don't think that that's what this Giants team could do, but teams that do it, the Yankees, the Mets, and the Dodgers. I mean, the Red Sox can get to that point, but I mean, they penny pinched with Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
They penny pinched with Mookie Betts, and that deal now, looking at it, I mean, obviously revisionist history, but you're looking at what he was looking to get. I think he got $300 million when he came over with the Dodgers. That is chump change compared to what these guys are making now.
Yeah.
So it's like the Red Sox didn't want to do that then for Mookie Betts. Then who are you going to spend it on? Who are you going to give that contract offer to?
Yeah, it baffles me that more owners don't react this way in baseball because of the lack of salary cap. You can go after it if you really want to.
Right.
Like Steve Cohen is like, yeah, fuck it, I have the money, I'm going to go do it. Which is why like the A's this year, this offseason, like signing Brett Rooker and Luis Severino to the largest contract in A's history. Part of me is kind of like Manfred called up the A's and been like, "Okay, I got you Sacramento. You're getting your new stadium in Las Vegas. It's time for you guys to start spending. Like, no more of me covering your ass and be like, well, it makes sense. They're doing this, they're doing that. Like, no, you have to actually operate like a big league club now and start spending money." Yeah. Which is, a big slap, a big, slap in the face to all Oakland fans. But yeah, no, I hear you, Walt. It's frustrating, and nothing's going to change until Rob Manfred changes things. And that's just one of the many things that I think baseball has, a problem with right now. Is I don't know what you think about the rule changes. I don't think you really needed to change anything to adapt to today's culture of, short, just people that can't, watch a 9-inning baseball game. Like, they need to shorten everything down. And
yeah,
I don't know. I think that there's a way to do it. It's just that MLB did a shitty job of marketing through, since the last 15 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's just so many problems right now. I think.
Dude,
but it's still a fun game.
When we were growing up, I mean, you would see it on SportsCenter. You'd see the top 10, and you'd have baseball highlights, and like there was like segments dedicated to baseball. It's just not that anymore.
No, it's not.
And I don't know if that's to place blame on Manfred for that. They have their own network, so I mean, if you want baseball, you go to MLB Network, right? But
MLB Network is not available to YouTube TV, which more younger people use these days.
Exactly. So then that's kind of where you look to the infrastructure of how are you reaching the younger demographic? How are you reaching the next generation to where you want them to gravitate to your sport, and you're just not making it available. I mean, that's just point and simple there. But yeah, man, I mean, we talk about the solutions and what could potentially happen and what can potentially fix it. I mean, we're just kind of going off the dome, right? I mean, I love the game of baseball. I still watch it, but I know that it doesn't like it wouldn't appeal to like my younger cousins or anything like that, because it's a slow game. It is a slower game. So then when you look to all of the rule changes. I understand the heart behind it, but like the spirit of the rule, right? But I don't know if that's how you. I don't know if that's how you approach it. I mean, with the bigger bases and the pitch clock and all that kind of stuff, and the limitation on throwing over to first base or pickoff moves in general, to where you only have 2 disengagements. The third one you have to tag them or they advance a space, right? It's
Yeah,
like
I
a
hate
block.
things where they take strategy out of it. Like that. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous to me.
Yeah, but then also, I mean, that's kind of they're trying to generate something that isn't there. And what that is action in between pitches, right? Because in our days, right, back when we were watching baseball, when we were coming up, you had guys that were speed demons. You had guys that would put the bat on the ball, get contact, get on base, and you knew that they were a problem. Like, you knew that they were going to give the pitcher on the mound a heart attack. You don't have that now. And my big thing is, why don't you have that? It's because you don't pay. You don't reward guys for being that type of player. And I mean, what has been preached with analytics? So I forget who it was, but someone else said analytics ruin baseball. I do agree with that to a point, because everyone's so fixated on exit velocity. I don't give a damn what the exit velocity is if it catches a glove. Like, you know what I mean? Like what are we talking about? Exit velocity, launch angles, right? So my biggest thing is that they've taken athleticism out of the game with analytics, to where teams now, they're not even drafting guys that can do that. Maybe with the rule change, and I think that's the spirit of the rule, is that they're trying to get people that are more athletic, and making it a little bit more easier because it wasn't happening before. So then maybe, I mean, but that's going to take time, like for teams to kind of go back into their organizational depth chart in drafting these guys. People aren't looking for 20, 30, 40 base stealers. They're not looking for guys that can hit for average or get on base. They're looking for guys that can hit it out of the ballpark, and that's what they think is going to put butts in the seats. And that's what's changed the game of baseball.
Yeah, I mean, it will put butts in the seats, but I'm with you, Walt. Like I miss the days of just like knowing how many home runs and hits and RBIs that Jason Giambi had in a season, as opposed to, I don't give a damn about WHIP or WAR or any of these dumb stats. Like I know it's like, you know, kind of ironic. Like, I hate analytics, and the A's are all about that. But like, I don't care. Like, analytics are used all throughout sports now. It's in football, it's in basketball, and of course it's in baseball. But when you start giving me, like, I never was good at math. Like, you start giving me numbers when it comes to baseball, I don't have time for this crap. I just want to know, like, how many strikeouts does he have? Like, it just simplify the game. You're statting me to death. Like, I don't know. Like that. I know you're with me on that one to a certain degree, but like, I feel like it's just saturated now with stats. It's just too much. It's just make it more simple.
Yeah, dude. I didn't sit down and watch this game to do freaking algebra equations. Like, you know what I mean? Like just make it simple, stupid. Like that's all it is. Like, I really don't care about exit velocity. I know if you're hitting the crap out of the ball, first of all, I can see that. And second of all, it's not going to find a glove. It's not going to find a glove. That's all I care about. I don't care if he's hitting 110 exit velocity, if it's going straight to the center fielder or straight to the shortstop. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't understand that analytic at all. But all right, man. Well, I'm gonna let you go, because we've been talking for quite some time. It's a lot of fun. It's always fun to talk. We started this
I love
conversation.
sounding off on baseball.
Oh yeah, dude. No, we started this conversation talking about Gordon Ramsay. So I think I'm gonna go watch some Gordon Ramsay here in a little bit. Might turn on some Hell's Kitchen. I don't know which show I'm gonna pop on, but I might go Hell's Kitchen. Maybe I'll see if there's a no, actually there's not a new Kitchen Nightmares. That's tomorrow. So
yeah, I don't know how much of a game this national championship is anymore. I think Ohio State's up 31-14 right now as we go to the fourth quarter.
Is it a route now?
Yeah, it's looking like Ohio State's going to win this thing. Before I go though, I do want to bring up. I do want to mention to everybody. I think the last time I was on here, I talked about how we should have a kind of a memorial for Ricky Henderson.
Yes, I was about to ask you about that.
And the A's are going to do that, or I don't know if it's actually the A's, but well, it is and it isn't. But there's going to be a celebration of life for Ricky Henderson on February 1st at the Oakland Arena, formerly known as Oracle. I was hoping that they would open the Coliseum doors. They are not. They're going to do it in the arena, which is, it's fine with me. It's in the, kind of same, plaza area, so it's fine. But I don't know how quickly things are going. You could register at Ticketmaster, and that's how you get a seat. But yeah, February 1st at the Oracle Arena, or not Oracle Arena anymore, but Oakland Arena. February 1st from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 3 o'clock. They're going to have a celebration of life for Ricky Henderson. So yeah, if you're an Oakland A's fan or you love Ricky Henderson, come out and support the Man of Steel.
Yeah, man. I mean, we talk about athleticism in the game. There was nobody better than that. I mean, he probably has the most unbreakable records in baseball. I mean,
no one's touching his stolen bases record.
Nah, dude, there's no chance. I remember when all the rule changes did happen, and we saw Ronald Acuna just going ape shit over stealing bases. And then I had on, I forget who it was. Earlier last year, I was talking to Trent C. Rosecrans of I think it was the Inquirer in Cincinnati, and I was talking to him about Ellie De La Cruz.
That is sorry, what his name again?
Trent C. Rosecrans. Yeah,
that is one of the fanciest names ever heard.
It's very bougie. It's very bougie.
Yeah.
I love having him on just so I can.
It's a great
say
author
it.
Name.
Yeah, Trent C. Rosecrans. He has a vote like in the Hall of Fame voting, so it's always fun to talk to him during that time. Which maybe I'll get your thoughts on real quick on our way out. But no, I was asking him about Ellie De La Cruz because he was going on this crazy pace of stealing bases, and I was just like, do you think that there's a chance that he can catch Ricky Henderson? Like, I was just kind of being tongue in cheek. He's just like, I don't know if that's gonna. Even with the rule changes, that's gonna be pretty tough. Like, he has to get on base almost every single game and steal like 3. Like, and even at that pace, like it's not likely for that to happen for Ellie De La Cruz.
As you said, Walter, like, scouts aren't looking for guys like that anymore because it's like, analytics would tell you, like, just stay on the base. Don't steal. Like, that part of the game is done.
It's stupid. It's really stupid. So yeah, no, we're never going to see anybody do that unless there's like a huge culture shift and there's a huge change in philosophy with baseball and organizations to where they're starting to look for speed demons. But I don't even think that those guys are even playing like the game anymore. Like, they're going to football. They're going to other sports, track and field. I don't know what else they're doing. But it's just not there anymore because they're not paying those guys to do that. They're paying if you can't hit the ball over the fence, then you don't. I mean, that's what's been preached. If you can't hit the ball over the fence, you don't have a future in baseball. Like, that's just how it is. And unfortunately, some guys that are really athletic and really talented, they never make it to the show because they just teams don't put that forward. But really quick before I get you out of here, I know I know you followed baseball in the early 2000s. We all know Ichiro.
Well, I do know the difference between right field and left field. Keeps asking me.
Thank God.
I went to just real quick. Tacky was at an A's game this year, and he said meet me in left field, and I was in right field, and it was a whole mix up. Sorry, Tacky. Eat shit.
Ichiro, you think he's going to be unanimous? Is he going to be the second ever unanimous vote for the Hall of Fame?
Who was the first, Ken Griffey Jr.?
No, dude, I know. Shocker.
Sorry. It was a big controversy because he wasn't.
Well, he wasn't. I want to say Ken Griffey got in at like 92, 93%, which is stupid.
Yeah, but like there was some that he's got to wait a little bit.
But the big controversy was there was this one guy. I forget who it was. I knew at the time. I had to go look it up. One guy didn't vote for Derek Jeter, so he didn't get in. Unanimously. He didn't get in unanimously. But no, the one and only unanimous vote was Mariano Rivera.
Yeah, I mean, I never like people. It's always weird with like, at the end of the day, they got in, and that's what should matter. But like people fixate on like it should be unanimous. It should be unanimous, and like some sports writers just have their vendettas against certain players, and that's why I think sports writers should be the ones to vote Hall of Famers in. at the same time, we all know that some guys, like, oh, he talked to me a certain way back in the day, so I'm not going to vote him in. And he wasn't good to the media. I can't stand that shit. At the end of the day, was he a Hall of Famer? Like, the rules, integrity, and all that stuff. Yeah, okay. Some guys cheated. Some guys took steroids. Some guys bet on baseball. At the end of the day, was that guy important to the game?
Right.
Yes or no?
Right.
And that's how we should do with it. So to answer your question, yes, Ichiro should be in the Hall of Fame unanimously, but I'm sure there's going to be some people that say no. So who cares? At the end of the day, Ichiro is going to get in.
Should Barry be in the Hall?
Absolutely, he should be in the Hall.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. For years, my pops used to host Chronicle Live, and he always had sports writers on, and they gave their take on how, like Barry Bonds, well, it's integrity, and I'm like, okay, but it wasn't like Barry Bonds ever did anything off the field that was so egregious where you're like, he can't be in. Like, we're not talking about Darren Sharper here going to the NFL Hall of Fame. We're talking about Barry Bonds who took steroids and cream and put it on his ass. Like, for God's sakes. This is ridiculous.
Was that the process? Is that what he did? Put cream on his ass?
Yeah, I remember what Balco, all the the logistics. But yeah, it's either your arm or your ass, whatever.
What would you prefer? Would you prefer to inject on your ass or in your arm? Where would you prefer?
I'm keeping that confidential, Walt.
Okay. Yeah, I just needed to know for my notes. All right, Derek. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. It's always a fun time, dude. Rockin' New Era chiming in, saying that we're important.
Yep. They love pointing out that I can never pronounce my T's in the middle of a word. It always turns into D's.
You prefer the D. That's what I tell him. You prefer the D.
I guess I do, Walt.
Yes,
it's all Steven's fault.
Is he the one that brought it up and made it possible for everyone to understand that? Because
instead of saying Titans, I say Titans sometimes. And he had to point that out to everybody
all the time.
No, I'm being conscious of it now. But yeah, like everyone focuses on that.
Oh, dude, that's freaking.
And it makes me sad.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes you sad. That's why we continue to talk about it. But yeah, the Hall of Fame ballot, man. Ichiro, I'm with you. I mean, he should be a unanimous vote, and he's gonna get into the Hall regardless. But he should be a unanimous vote. I think the last time that I checked, because the ballots were coming in, and it's going to be announced, I believe, tomorrow at like 5:00 Pacific time. The inductees, but the last time I checked, what's up?
Who's eligible besides Ichiro?
Oh, dude, they got a bunch of guys. Ichiro, you got CC Sabathia, you got Jimmy Rollins. CC. Yeah, CC is going to get in. Manny Ramirez, there you go. Manny Ramirez is on the ballot. Dustin Pedroia. Lot of Mark Burley. You remember Mark Burley?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Burley. Carlos Beltran is on the. Is on the ballot. King Felix is on the ballot. I don't think he's going to get in this time. And that's the thing. Like, when you go through these guys, like, I was just reading it off, right? Bobby Abreu, Carlos Beltran, Mark Burley, Carlos Gonzalez, Cargo from the Rockies, Curtis Granderson, King Felix, Torrey Hunter, Adam Jones, Andrew Jones. Like, you start going through these guys, and you can tell when I read it off, and I would say probably for you also, I read those names, you're like, Hall of Famer,
yes,
good player, Hall of Famer, not a Hall of Famer, good player, Hall of Fame. Like you can go through that entire list, to where, like, King Felix, I don't think he's gonna get a lot of votes this year, but I see him as a Hall of Famer. Like, dude, he pitched at a really high level.
Yeah.
It maybe wasn't as long as like some of these other guys, but I feel like he's a Hall of Famer. Like, you know what I mean? Like CC. I feel like CC was a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, CC Sabathia is definitely a Hall of Famer. Felix,
is he Hall of really good, or is he a Hall of Famer?
He's like second ballot type of guy. Like, he didn't have a lot of postseason success, so that will probably take away from him. Like,
I felt like when I was watching him, I felt like I was watching a Hall of Famer on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, he was fantastic. How many Cy Youngs he win?
I want to say he got 2, I believe.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me go ahead and look.
Yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Definitely.
Yeah, I believe he got 2. Venezuelan, by the way, pitcher. How many Cys did he get? Did he not get any? I don't think he got. Oh yeah, he got one. He got one in 2010.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, he got one Cy Young. One Cy Young.
Yeah, I mean he pitched for a long time.
6-time All-Star. Looking at his numbers right now.
Oh, he pitched
career ERA of 3.42. What's his total win number? Total wins.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, but I mean you would know better than me with
low on the wins. Low on the wins. A 169. So he didn't get the 200.
Okay.
Yeah, that might fuck him, but a WAR 49.9.
How many go in a given class?
There's not a set.
It varies.
Okay. So every voter can pick up to 10 people.
Gotcha.
And you have to meet or get higher than 75% to get into the hall.
Okay.
And then what was it? Billy Wagner, he's going on to his final year of eligibility, and I want to say last year he got like 72, 73%, so he just missed. So then they're like, "Oh, it's year 10, got to get Billy in." But it's just like, dude, if he wasn't a Hall of Famer for the first 9 years, what's changed? The numbers are the same.
Yeah, I never understand it with sports writers
like,
where
I don't get that either. Like,
yeah,
like, we gotta make him wait. I'm like, he's either a Hall of Famer or not.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't make sense.
What does waiting help? Like the day that Jim Plunkett goes in to the NFL Hall of Fame after he's dead will be just an injustice.
Right.
Like to me, that's just ridiculous. So
yeah.
Like I said, these sports writers have their vendettas, and it's ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah, it's stupid, and it begs the question: like, should these guys be responsible for the Hall of Fame? And
I think yes and no.
I would say no.
Well, I would say yes, just because if you ask former players, they're going to say everybody should get in. So there has to be some.
I don't know.
You don't think so?
I don't like. Is it such a hard concept to where like you vote for the Hall of Fame? Like the people that put people into the Hall of Fame are the players that played the game or are in the Hall of Fame themselves? Like, should there be a panel of current Hall of Famers that vote for it, and then like their peers, guys that played within the confines of those said years for the players?
I think it should be a mix. I think it should be, yes,
a little bit of everything.
Yeah, like, sports writers should get a vote. Current players should get a vote, or guys that played in that era should get a vote. Like certain Hall of Famers should get votes. It's never going to be a perfect system.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about that, like in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Like, should the inductees get a vote? And yeah, they should, because they know what they're talking about. But also at the same time, like, some guys could be cruel and be like, he wasn't as good as player as me, so he shouldn't get in. Like, it's
right.
I don't know. It's never going to be a perfect system.
I don't know. I mean, I know people don't like to hear about this guy, but on Foul Territory, AJ Pierzynski, right? I mean, and I'm just using him because I that's what I've seen most recently in the last 24 hours when we're talking about the Hall of Fame. He would say that when he was on the field, you look at a player and you're like, this, like even Eric Kratz too. He would be on the field, he'd look at a player and say, I'm playing with a Hall of Famer. That's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I feel like the players that played with them or in that same time period maybe have a better grasp on who should be in the Hall of Fame and who shouldn't. And I think the Hall of Famers themselves, and I mean, we don't have to go all the way back and have old timers vote for it, but I mean, guys that are within the last 25 years, like they have a say in who's going to join their club. But then also, like, that could get ugly, and they're just like, no, they're not as good as me. Fuck them. Like, they're not going to get.
Yeah, exactly.
It can get a little bit testy there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I think it would go sometimes. If you had like the old crotchety guys, voting, they'd be like, well, back in my day, like these guys weren't good as me. It's like, all right, right. Ty Cobb, sit down.
Do you imagine if like Michael Jordan had to vote somebody into the Hall of Fame?
Oh my God. Well, if we played 1-on-1 right now, I beat them. So can they really be a Hall of Famer? His Hall of Fame speech is by far the best one I've ever heard, where he was like, you all know I still could ball, right? It's like, okay, MJ, sit down.
I can still go put up 50. Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane.
Dude. Yeah, man. That's incredible. Well, we did it again, Derek. We were saying bye. We've been saying bye for about 30 minutes. So, dude,
You and I always get wrapped up in good conversation, man.
we
Whether
always
it's
get
on a
wrapped up.
podcast or you're driving me home and I miss the exit.
Yeah, dude, and then we end up in Sacramento. But yeah, man. No, really appreciate you stopping by. It's always fun. Just to talk ball, just BS with you, and we'll do it again soon. But I think the next time we do it, we'll probably bring in Steven. We'll probably do that. That Passion for the Pastime, Just Your Opinion, man, crossover. Maybe we'll do that in sometime in the coming months.
Probably closer to the start of the season, but yeah, I'm definitely down to do that.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you. Anybody, I opened up the phone line to see if AJ wanted to call or if anybody else wanted to call to talk to you, because AJ did ask. He was like, "Hey, dude, is Just Your Opinion, man, gonna get a phone line like Passion for the Pastime?" He wasn't here at the beginning. AJ. He wasn't here at the beginning. I did offer my services to you, so we'll figure it out. We'll get that. We'll get that thing going.
That might be.
I know you covered the tab yesterday, so you can't really get the Roadcaster yet, but in time.
Yeah. I gotta save up for it, but no, that's definitely a game changer for podcasts, man. You're doing great things on the podcast, Walt.
No, dude, I love it. But hold on. I summoned his name, and we're gonna get a treat here, Derek. We got AJ Cruz calling in, bro. So let's get this going. Right. AJ, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just heard you besmirching my good name.
Wait. Are you hearing? Oh wait, I got it.
I'm hearing you.
I hear him.
I hear you.
What's up, bro? What's up? My bad, dude. I cut you off. I go ahead. We welcome in AJ. What's up, AJ? Take two.
Walter, I just heard you guys. I heard you besmirching my good name, so I had to call in to defend my honor, sir. That's all.
Whoa, besmirching?
Huh?
Who's been besmirching? I can't even say it. Besmirching. Tired.
Besmirching. I just want to call and defend my honor. That's all. I just wanted to make sure that I was traveling with the family back from Monterey. So apologies, I got in a little bit late. So but I know what time it is. I'm like Flavor Flav. I know what time it is. So yeah, boy. I just want to call and just say what's up, fellas. Derek, I'm glad to see that you're above ground. So yeah, that's all. I just want to call and say what's up, fellas.
Hell yeah, dude. Appreciate it. How was Monterey? You check out the aquarium or what's up? What'd you do?
Oh yeah. I took the family to the aquarium. Went to Bubba Guts for some snip.
What was your favorite fish?
Huh?
What was your favorite fish at the aquarium?
Oh, the otters, dude. All the way. The otters are the best. It's all about the otters.
They are pretty sweet, dude. That's like the main attraction.
Yeah,
there.
Pretty.
Yeah.
What else? You know what? Actually, that kind of just gave me a little idea. So we're walking around, and I haven't been to the aquarium in some number of years. But I was walking around, and we got to the kelp forest, and I was looking at the kelp forest. I'm like, wow, it seemed so much bigger when I was younger. And how the hell did anybody ever think that they kept humpback whales in a fucking aquarium like they did back in Star Trek 4? I'm like, that's got to be the stupidest idea ever. So you like when you watch movies back when you're older that you saw when you were much younger, and you really think about them. You watch them back and you realize that wait, this doesn't add up. That doesn't add up. That's dumb as hell. What the hell? And maybe that soundtrack was better than I expected. Unless Tacky's watching, then it's it probably had the worst piece of shit soundtrack ever. But it's all 2 thumbs up and a can of Pabst Blue Ribbon for him. But that's not the point. I digress. Yeah, I'm like, I haven't seen Star Trek 4 since the first time I saw it, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go back and watch it again. So I just kind of left feeling a little bit confused. But shit, we hit a Turkish coffee spot, and we got some Turkish delight, some fancy Turkish delight too. That shit was good. So, but yeah, man. Otherwise, man, just some rambling thoughts from a funny dude with 3 kids approaching middle age. I got nothing else.
All right, AJ. Well, thanks for calling in, bro. Yeah, we're gonna work on the phone line for Just Your Opinion, man. I guarantee it at some point.
I don't know.
All right, man.
Okay, AJ's call. I don't know if we need it anymore.
Oh no, I know. I gotta say, you don't gotta worry about me. You gotta worry about Derek. About Tacky Crank calling you every 5 minutes with a different voice. So if you hear somebody sounds like Jar Jar Binks, then that's definitely Tacky. So.
Yeah, that definitely probably would happen if we had the phone line and Tacky was calling in.
That's great content. I look forward to that. AJ, dude, appreciate you stopping by and checking in. Always look forward to your calls, man. The cruise line, that's what we're calling it here on Passion for the Pastime. But AJ, thanks, dude. We'll talk again soon.
All right, thanks, fellas. Talk to you later. See you, Derek. Peace.
Later, AJ.
And that is the magic of what can happen here on Passion for the Pastime.
Besmirching.
Yeah, besmirching.
Finally got it right.
Is that the word? There it is. How long did you practice that in your head before you said it again?
Quite a bit of time.
All right. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna get out of here as well. But it was a fun time. Let me say bye to everybody here in the YouTube chat really quick. It was a lot of fun to talk with you, Derek. I appreciate you stopping by.
Always.
We'll do it again soon. But Otis, thank you for stopping by. Pat H, Tacky, Rockin' New Era, AJ, you know it, everybody, the regulars here at Passion for the Pastime. It's always a fun time in here. AJ Cruz as well. Maniac Blue Dodger. We got a Dodger fan in here. He was asking who's going to sign next. I think he was heckling us for a little bit, but who's going to sign next?
Yeah, a lot of Dodger fans in the chat today.
There's a lot of Dodger fans. What the hell? This is the Dodger leader. EB here. He chimed in. What's up, EB? Objectivity signed in. I think they were first or new to the podcast. So if you're new to the podcast, remember to subscribe, hit the like button, drop us a comment, and definitely set your notifications for when we go live every night, 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday for the most part. I'll try to sneak in some Friday shows. We might be able to get that once we get closer to the start of the season. Definitely when pitchers and catchers report in the second week of February. So Derek, thank you. Thank you to everybody here in the YouTube chat. We'll be back at it tomorrow, 6 p.m. Passion for the Pastime returns. I'm Walter Calaceta. That's Derek Papa stopping by. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Mañana. That is Spanish for tomorrow. So you guys have a good one. Talk to you then.